Join us on Patreon and become part of our journey to uncover history's untold stories. Your support helps us create in-depth content, bring hidden narratives to life, and keep history alive for everyone.
History is often a tapestry woven with threads that are both vivid and obscured. Some stories, whether through deliberate omission or simple neglect, have been hidden beneath layers of time, waiting to be unearthed. The history of the Choctaw Nation is a remarkable one, filled with tales of resilience, survival, and cultural richness. However, one of the least explored yet profoundly significant aspects of this history is the deep connection between the Choctaw people and African ancestry. This is a narrative that speaks to the intricate intersections of race, identity, and belonging, a story of shared struggle, cultural fusion, and a historical bond that has withstood the weight of centuries. The story of Black ancestry within the Choctaw Nation is not one of mere coincidence or marginal significance. Rather, it is a chronicle of alliances, intermarriages, shared hardships, and in some instances, forced servitude that created a people whose bloodlines and heritage cannot be neatly categorized. It is the story of individuals who were both African and Choctaw, neither solely one nor the other, but a fusion of two worlds that, over time, became inseparable. To understand this connection, one must delve deep into the early history of the Choctaw people, their encounters with European colonizers, and the transformative events that shaped their society. This journey takes us through the complexities of European colonial rule, the forced migration of indigenous peoples, the institution of slavery, and the nuanced ways in which African and Choctaw identities blended. From the early interactions between runaway enslaved Africans and Choctaw communities to the tragic era of the Trail of Tears and beyond, the story of Black Choctaw ancestry is an essential chapter in American history, one that challenges our understanding of racial identity and cultural heritage. Before the arrival of European settlers, the Choctaw people thrive in the southeastern region of what is now the United States, primarily in present-day Mississippi, Alabama, and Louisiana. Their society was complex, with an intricate social structure, a deep spiritual belief system, and advanced agricultural practices that allowed them to flourish for centuries. The Choctaw were known for their mound-building traditions, a sophisticated form of architecture that reflected their spiritual beliefs and communal organization. They engaged in extensive trade networks that connected them to other indigenous nations, creating a thriving economic and political system long before European contact. The Choctaw way of life was centered around kinship, matrilineal inheritance, and a communal approach to governance. Their leaders, often chosen based on lineage and wisdom, maintained order through councils that made decisions for the collective good. This societal framework would later play a crucial role in how they navigated the complexities of European colonization and their interactions with African peoples. When European explorers and settlers arrived in North America, they brought with them enslaved Africans who were forced to labor in plantations, build settlements, and serve as intermediaries between Europeans and indigenous peoples. As early as the 16th and 17th centuries, some of these Africans managed to escape from their captors, seeking refuge among indigenous nations. The Choctaw, like many other Native American tribes, provided sanctuary to some of these individuals, forging relationships that would later shape the cultural and genetic fabric of their communities. The relationship between the Choctaw and Africans was multifaceted. Some Choctaw communities integrated runaway enslaved people into their societies, adopting them as members, while others, influenced by European economic systems, engaged in the practice of enslaving Africans themselves. The complexity of these interactions reflects the broader historical forces at play: colonization, forced migration, and the struggle for survival in an ever-changing landscape. Despite the challenging circumstances, many Africans who found themselves among the Choctaw maintained their cultural practices while also adopting aspects of indigenous traditions. Over time, marriages between Africans and Choctaw people became common, leading to a blending of customs, languages, and beliefs. The resulting Afro-Indigenous descendants carry both Choctaw and African heritage, developing unique cultural identities that persisted despite external pressures to assimilate into European or American norms. The integration of African people into Choctaw society also influenced various aspects of Choctaw culture. Music, storytelling, spiritual practices, and agricultural techniques all saw the infusion of African elements. The resilience of both African and indigenous traditions allowed for the creation of a hybrid culture that defied rigid racial classifications imposed by European settlers. The 19th century brought unprecedented challenges to the Choctaw people. The implementation of the Indian Removal Act of 1830 led to the forced displacement of the Choctaw Nation from their ancestral lands in the southeastern United States to what is now Oklahoma. This forced migration, known as the Trail of Tears, was a harrowing journey marked by immense suffering, disease, and death. For those of African descent who were part of the Choctaw Nation, this period was equally devastating. Many were forced to march alongside the Choctaw, experiencing the same brutal conditions. Others, particularly those who were enslaved by Choctaw elites who had adopted European-style plantations, found themselves further marginalized. The political and social restructuring that followed the removal further complicated the identities of Afro-Indigenous individuals, as they often faced discrimination from both the Choctaw and white settlers who sought to impose racial hierarchies. Despite the adversities, the legacy of Black ancestry within the Choctaw Nation did not fade. Generations of Afro-Indigenous descendants continued to preserve their histories, passing down stories of their dual heritage. However, official recognition of their identity remained a contested issue. Throughout the late 19th and 20th centuries, as the United States government implemented policies that categorized individuals based on rigid racial lines, many Afro-Indigenous people were forced to choose between identifying as Black or Indigenous, erasing the complexity of their heritage. Today, efforts to reclaim and honor the contributions of Afro-Indigenous people within the Choctaw Nation are gaining momentum. Scholars, activists, and descendants are working to uncover historical records, share oral histories, and challenge narratives that have long excluded Black Choctaw ancestry from mainstream historical accounts. The hidden Black ancestry of the Choctaw Nation is a testament to the interconnectedness of human history. It is a story of resilience, adaptation, and survival against overwhelming odds. It challenges us to rethink simplistic racial categories and embrace the complexity of identity. By bringing this history to light, we honor the countless individuals whose contributions have shaped the rich cultural tapestry of the Choctaw Nation. As more research emerges and more voices are heard, the narrative of Afro-Indigenous heritage will continue to gain the recognition it rightfully deserves, ensuring that future generations understand the full depth of this intertwined history.